What's up, everybody? It's your boy Keefe back with another weekly ritual. Ghost Cults, rock and metal news live stream every week, all over the web. Missed last week, back this week. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being back. These days sometimes are hard, and there's battles going on everybody doesn't see in public. But I feel like I'm heading into the end of the year on the upswing. I'll talk a little personal update in a few minutes. We'll do all the minutiae and get it out of the way. This is your one-stop shop for all your rock and metal news, concert tour dates, festival updates, features and interviews we've done this week, all the drama of the week and big news. I've doubled up a little bit since I missed last week, and some fun stuff from our mailbag. I got some fun things in the mail I can share with everybody. So super stoked. Thanks for being here. This is your show too, so feel free to jump in the comments and ask questions and stuff. And thanks for being here. I appreciate everybody. Bella Kiss is back. What up, what up, what up? We followed you recently. And yeah, man, if you follow us, we will follow you back. That's kind of what we do, how we do. Okay. Yep. Alrighty, Gary. Let's see, what else? Let's do the thing. Do all the things. It's hard to do all the things. I gotta be honest with you. Ooh, there we go. Hey, I made this graphic visual. Hopefully it's helpful. I got my lighting right finally here at the alternate studio. Not the home studio. But yeah, thanks for being here. Ocean Decomposition is here, as well as Bella Kiss. Thanks so much. You folks have chimed in over on the tube of you and Instagram. If you're new here, Ghost Cult, check us out at ghostcultmag.com. I should have a drink. My liquid death. I'm running out of these tall boys. When they're gone, they're gone. I saw a strawberry one and a pina colada seltzer too. So, yeah. All good, all good. Let's move it along. So we always start the show with some announcements, and we do have some sad news here at the top. First and foremost, this is my brain, a chicken inside of a computer with a bunch of terminals. I found out recently I have ADHD. I mean, everybody who knows me knows I probably always had ADHD, but I was never diagnosed until recently. And so now I have a diagnosis. I started taking basically Ritalin last week. I can't quite tell you if it's working or not because I've had a very emotionally trying week on a lot of levels, although I do feel very supported and cool. Had my therapy today. I had a checkup with my doctor recently. We're still working on some things, like I need a sleep clinic visit and need to continue to get my blood pressure down and my weight down in 2026. But I feel like I'm heading into the year pretty solid. Yeah, we'll continue to keep you posted because I'm a heart on my sleeve kind of dude. So we just keep it all 100. Anyway, on to the announcements. Just thanks again to everybody. Probably one of our most popular giveaways in recent memory was this God Forbid ticket giveaway. The co-owner of Ghost Cult, Omar Cordy, was on the road with God Forbid. He is, among other things, the co-owner of Ghost Cult, our creative director and video editor and photo chief. And he's also a working musician and drum tech for Corey Pierce of God Forbid. So he was on the road. He'll be bringing us some coverage. And he took this photo, if you're watching anywhere but TikTok. Best experience for the show is always Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram, but I like hanging out on TikTok also. Thanks for being here. Grateful Dad Bod, good name. I like it. Hi to Asia is here, or Hide, if it's who I think it is. Dylan J. Davis is here. Aylin, what's up, what's up? Thanks for being here and stopping by. Feel free to follow us and subscribe. We appreciate it. Going on a little later than the normal time, but at least I got in the show. We got the show in. Anyway, it has been an extremely trying time in the world. And I want to talk for a second about this because, it doesn't matter about politics. It doesn't matter about religion. I don't really care. But, what people do in their own homes. But violence because of religion, racism, or both is horrible and unexpected. And we've had a whole week of terrible shit happen in the world, Bondi Beach, Australia, Brown University. I'm not really religious anymore. I like to say I'm Jewish, but like, you can't be unfeeling and unthinking about senseless violence. There's no fucking way that this makes sense in the world. It's just not cool. So, keep these people in your best wishes. Until the Avala is here, and David Lane 936 is also here. Hello, hello. The Pope of Wine is here. What's up, the Pope of Wine? All right, so that's one thing. Then, oh my goodness, man, Rob and Michelle Reiner were murdered. We're still getting kind of some of the details. I know that they barred the cameras from the arraignment, and I think the Nick Reiner is being held without bail until his arraignment, a full official arraignment in January, when they're going to set a bond. I mean, a murder of a famous person, whatever side of the political aisle they're on, is absolutely no place to make a political statement about them and their feelings and beliefs. Just one of the dumbest, horrible things I've ever seen. Friends of mine that are rather conservative were pissed about it. The president is a trash human. It doesn't matter about whether he's successful or not. His fans and followers believe him. He's the president for 3 more years. And he said and did a terrible and stupid thing. Rob Reiner is a treasure. Beside the fact that he directed Spinal Tap 1 and 2, he was a legendary comedian and actor. His father, Carl Reiner, helped shape comedy in America, along with Mel Brooks and others. And, even if you didn't like Spinal Tap, Rob Reiner was a great actor. He was in Wolf of Wall Street. He was a great director, When Harry Met Sally. So many great movies that he helped make and be part of. And just brutal, 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 brutal way to end the year after he had such a huge year with the return. Spinal Tap, the end continues. So just very sad. And just one more shout out to Rob and Michelle Reiner. They helped marriage equality get launched in America when California tried to ban gay marriage in 2008. They became like much more politically active than they even were. So I'm really grateful that that existed and that they existed and lived. Is much more important than how they died, but just whack and horrible this whole year. And also Peter Green, you know him best from Pulp Fiction and The Mask, but he was a legendary character actor in Hollywood, B movies, action movies. Also died this last week. Very sad. Guy was beloved. Selena's father. This is insane. He was ill. Abraham Quintanilla passed away. You've seen me wear my Selena shirt unironically on this show and at concerts and interviews with bands. And, he helped build her whole career and protect her legacy after her death. So, mad respect. And they put a very nice statement out, his family, about his passing and asking for privacy. It's still very tough for them. Gil Gerard, man, I love science fiction, not just Star Wars and Star Trek, the obvious too. I love all science fiction and space movies, and I love Buck Rogers in the 21st Century with Dr. Theopolis and Twiggy, Ribby. And Gil Gerard was just an awesome actor and a fun show that didn't take itself too seriously like other shows did at the time. And he was 82 and he was rather ill apparently, but just, very sad that he has passed right in the childhood, right in the feels. Rubber Band Man, what up? Andrew Clark, what up? Good to see you. Mark Visco, homie, what is up? Long time no see. Skull Basher is back. What's up? We're just doing the thing, the weekly rock and metal news, and we start off with the announcements. Artists who would have celebrated a birthday most recently: Chuck Schuldiner of Death, the legend. Amy Lee of Evanescence turned 44 recently. Dick Van Dyke made it to 100. I was convinced that this shit would get jinxed like Betty White, but he managed to make it to his 100th birthday. Amazing. Also, in the world of celebs, Wolf Hoffman of Accept hit a birthday this week. There's a nice picture of him shot by my homie Pags, who covered Accept recently. This week in rock history, Ace Frehley was electrocuted on stage in Florida at the Dynasty Tour. Holy shit. Motorhead played their final show 10 years ago last weekend. Unbelievable. We didn't know the rest of the tour would get canceled. They had a birthday party for Lemmy, and then he passed away. Horrible and sad. Also, Rip Magazine was launched 39 years ago with this cover, Ozzy versus, I believe, Wendy Williams, which is amazing. The Punks versus the Metalers. What a great first issue. I do wonder what Lon Friend is up to, the original founder of Rip. Yep, I ain't skipped All in the Family, man. I love Rob Reiner. I watch All in the Family. By the way, my brother's nickname was Meathead because he kind of looked like Rob Reiner as a young guy. So I didn't skip All in the Family. I'm just kind of burned out from talking about deaths. It really hurts. But okay, sure. Randy Rhoads would have celebrated a birthday recently. Just so many people in the music world to keep a track of. Also celebrating a birthday is Joey Santiago of the Pixies recently. Who else? Of course, Nita Strauss, Hurricane Nita from Alice Cooper. Just saw her a few months ago. Incredible show with my homie Jorge and his wife. Incredible time with Priest. Phil Collin of Def Leppard celebrated a birthday recently and cancer-free. This is a fun one. This is a shot of the founder of Orange Amps, Cliff Cooper, who's like 80-something, in a buggy at his shop in 1970. Orange Amps kind of becoming the gold standard of amplifiers now. Pretty badass. Messiah Marcolin of Candlemass celebrated a birthday recently. He recently did a one-off show with them, which is rad. Also, Meg White celebrated birthday. New Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee Meg White. And Jay Macias of Dinosaur Jr., Witch, Heavy Blanket, a whole bunch of things. Love Jay Macias, or Macias, however you want to pronounce it. I never quite learned how to say his name correct. Rubber Man gotta go, but love you. Thanks so much. And I appreciate you, pal. We'll be back next week also with another show. I'm not sure if it'll be Thursday because Christmas, but probably Christmas Eve I'll do a show. Anywho, so moving right along. Thanks for being here, everybody. Peter Wilson, what's up? Thanks for watching. Just again, if you are feeling tipsy and you want to tip us, we accept tips for great service. We thank you. We do have some advertising. When you see ads at ghostcultmag.com and your YouTube ads, we are monetized. But of course, anybody who wants to donate to us, I'm thankful because we do not have corporate backing. We basically do this all ourselves. Let's see what else is on the thing here. I will hopefully get through without Facebook flagging me. It's always some shit with them. Oh, looks like we made it. If you want to drop a tip, go right ahead. We appreciate it. Moving along to the features this week at Ghost Cult. We just dropped a brand new music video for the power pop multi-generational band Power Takeoff, signed with Big Machine Agency. This is a lot of fun. This kind of reminded me of The Big Lebowski. Their music video for Dixie Cup is in a bowling alley. Fun band. A lot of fun. Got some more premieres and things coming in the new year. Headbangers His is here. What up? Headbangers History. We talk about some history. Once again, if you're in the hunt for some last-minute gifts, we have a gift guide for rockers and metalheads. Originally Black Friday, but basically a holiday gift guide. You can find last-minute things. A lot of times you can't get shipping now in time for Christmas. It's less than a week away. But what I will tell you is you can get online subscriptions, concert ticket vouchers, gift cards, magazine subscriptions, things like that, and you can put in a little card or print it out, put it in a little card or a box, and give it to somebody, and they'll feel no less special. Like you didn't, don't mess up. I know consumerism is kind of gross, but also people like things, as do I. We did our album of the year countdown, and now it's live on our site. I'll link it in the description as well. Ghost Cult's album of the year was Ghost Skeleton. I know it was a mild surprise, but kind of shouldn't be. I figured it would be at the top. It was, or near the top. It is the only band to win our album of the year poll 3 times, 3 different years. 2016 for Meliora, 2018 for Prequel, and now in 2025 for Skeleton. I think Impera was also an excellent record. and they really don't have any bad records. Check out our list if you've got some gripes. Drop a comment on our socials. There's a video where we did a roundtable discussion of 40 to 1. The bigger list of 75 to 1 is on our site. And there'll be some other listicles and guest posts and album end of year things. I'm going to do an end of year video at some point, probably around New Year's. And yeah, stay tuned for all that. I'll be back with the regular live stream schedule next, probably the week after next. The next 2 weeks we have New Year's and Christmas, but I'll get on still and do this show and chop it up with you guys. Leora is here, and Ren Leader is passed by, my homie. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Ren Leader. That guy knows more about music than I forgot. And next year we'll get back to live streams and conversations and bones to pick and things that grind my gear, like Rick Beato. A lot of boomers tried to come for me in the comments in the Rick Beato video. And, to what I say to them, 2-finger salute. You know what I'm saying? I can tell you one thing and you can hear it without a sound. Interviews we ran this week, including today, we ran our new interview with Gwen and Sean from Frail. Frail is the awesome occult witchy doom band on Napalm Records' new album, Heretics and Lullabies, out now. Interviewed by the homie, Don Delamont. Amazing. Great job, Don. Also, this week we had our new interview with Ethan McCarthy of Primitive Man. Primitive Man's amazing new album, Observance, is out. This interview was done by Tom Osman, who is the Ghost Cult managing editor of Reviews, but he also has his own podcast. He does a lot of interviews there and other places, and he manages our reviews team. Great interview with Primitive Man, and I'm sure my editor, Omar, and co-owner, as well as all of you, got a break from my voice. Sometimes I'm on here 3-4 times a week, so it's nice to get some other personalities and voices in there. More stuff coming soon, much more interviews coming from the rest of our staff, and hopefully I can take a little bit of a back seat on that next year. Also, recent interviews we've done include Testament and Trivium and Biohazard and Paradise Lost and Caribe and so many more. We had so many banger interviews this year that I'm so proud of. Also, this week we did a Q&A interview with the grindcore band Nuclear Dudes. This is our second interview in a few months with them. This interview was done by our own Morgan Y. Evans. They are also from the band Walking Bombs. The new and second album of the year from Nuclear Dudes includes Cody Willis. You know him from Big Business, Melvins, and now High on Fire. And Cody got to stretch out and blast some blasts on some grindcore songs and play a little different form of music for him, as opposed to all the stoner doom and avant-garde stuff he's used to. Just a reminder, we have a podcast, the Ghost Cult Magazine podcast streams wherever you listen to podcasts. And we are going to do, we had our Spotify Wrap for creators. YouTube has a Wrap for creators. After a while, it starts to become kind of numbing. But I just want to say that I'm really grateful for the growth we had this year. Our most listened to podcast episode was my interview with Devin Schittaker of the Acacia Strain. Their new album, You Are Safe From God Here, is out now on Rise Records. Great interview with Devin. We had a lot of fun. We talked about some Halloween stuff as well as keeping it grungy with riffs. And our growth has been really nice. And we are up to almost 900 episodes of the podcast. We will shortly pass 1,000 next year. When we passed 500, I did an episode with Omar. So we might do another one for 1,000, or maybe not. I don't know what he's up for. He doesn't really watch these things either. So once in a while, he pops up in here. He did last week. And of course, I'm part of the Glacially Musical Podcast, Beer, Metal, and Swearing. We're continuing our series on Queensryche this week. That'll go live tonight, overnight. Give them a sub because our channel's doing pretty good, and that channel's started later and it's very small. What's up, Eric Garcia? What's up, Narcoleptic Days or Dads? What's up, Maxwell? Thanks, everybody, for being here. Gotta say thanks. All right. And now it's time for music festivals. We start the news rundown, and every week we start with metal festivals. We just covered Eindhoven Metal Meeting, and it was amazing. Shout out to our friend Suzanne Mathuis in the Netherlands. And of course, here I'll embiggen this so you can appreciate these posters. I'm sorry, not you on TikTok, but everybody else. They already announced for next year the first batch of bands: Blood, Fire, Death, which is the ongoing tribute to Bathory; Death Angel playing all of Act 3; Flotsam and Jetsam playing No Place for Disgrace plus more; The Crown, which will be, very emotional, their farewell, basically. Uh, Other bands, Darvaza, Fortress, uh, At War, so many killer bands to be announced. Eindhoven Metal Meeting, we're just very grateful to always seem to cover that, and Roadburn and other things. Ghost Cult was founded in the Netherlands as a digital magazine to cover festivals. Also, as you know, we've taken a little bit of a break, but we'll be coming back with more coverage of the upcoming Mojave Experience inaugural festival taking place in March of 2026 at Joshua Tree. Incredible lineup, 2 nights, and I'm hoping to go out to this. I'm looking forward to it. We're gonna continue to partner up with the festival to bring you news of it. Milwaukee Metal Fest announced their day splits and all the bands performing, headlined by Acid Bath, Killswitch Engage, and Ministry. I kind of would like to go to this, but I just don't know if it'll work out with the timing. We shall see. I've also thought about going to Northwest Terrorfest, which we told you about 2 weeks ago, but I really want to see Acid Bath. I missed them twice when they were in Oakland. Really sucked. Just times couldn't work out. Tie Down Festival is still got a few more bands to announce, but this is taking place also Memorial Day weekend in Detroit, 2026. Blood for Blood, already a bunch of reunion shows. We'll talk about them in a minute. Nails, Negative Approach, Angel Dust, Bane, so many. End It, like Missing Link, Skinhead, so many killer bands. This is for you punchy hardcore people. Also, Heavy Psych Sounds has announced their Athens festival. Maybe we'll get our homie Annie Atlasman to cover this. Planet of Zeus, Color Haze, 17 and 2, Witch Throat, Serpent, Dismiss, Fuzz Rider, and many more to be announced. Of course, a couple of weeks ago, we told you about Heavy Psych Sounds London, taking place next fall. This looks really cool. Also, that's all the festivals now for the concerts that have been announced this week, at least a smattering of them. Summer of 99 and beyond. What year are we in? Creed continues to surprise and sell out tours and cruises. Be fun if they made a new record. Summer of 99 and beyond festival, 2 days in July. Limp Bizkit and Cypress Hill, Seven Dust Kitty, Puddle of Mud, Magnolia Park, The Pretty Wild, and Slay Squad. July 19th, Creed, Bush, Mammoth, Candlebox, Hoobastank, Sleep Theory, and a few more. So not too shabby. I think the Verve Pipe. Boy, I can't read these things. I don't know what's going on. Make your logos bigger. Death Angel is wrapping up their killer Act 3 tour of North America this fall. Tonight at Great American Music Hall, night 2 of a sold-out stand. We just ran our review of that today from Albany. Great review by our new correspondent, Rachel Skinner. That's her 3rd review for us. She's got some interviews coming up for us. Who knows what else? Very excited. Also, Lacuna Coil just announced a big headline tour of North America. Kind of exciting. Kicking off in the spring in March and running through May. And they have a VIP package set up going on now with Soundrank, who we've been fans of for a very long time. Sleepless Empire, great album this year by Lacuna Coil. I'm a fan. Nefarious has switched out vocalists from our friend Caton DePena to Sean, I forgot, from some Bay Area metal band. But Nefarious is playing January 3rd at my hometown venue, the DNA Lounge, basically around the corner from my house, with Nukem, Trencher, great EP out this week, and Parabellum, the band. Nefarious, one of my favorite records of the year. Just sorry it didn't work out with Caton to stay in the band. He is a homie, and I appreciate him. Always in our corner. Also, The Devil Wears Prada has announced UK and European dates for next fall, or next fall. Their new album Flowers is out now. Very killer stuff from the progressive metalcore legends. Gwar has announced the return of Gorgor. Gorgor Strikes Back. Gorgor and More was the last tour. This is Gorgor Strikes Back. Pretty killer lineup. Boonwell, which features Eugene Robinson of Oxbow, has announced some tour dates with Squid Pisser here in the States. Very exciting avant-garde metal. Sepultura has announced their final European tour and tour dates, including festivals. They're also doing Rock in Rio. They're also doing tons of rock. Speaking of all the European Leyendas de Rock and all these festivals in Europe, very excited for the farewell of Sepultura to wind down at the end of 26. How do you feel about these bands that do kind of they say they're ending and then they continue to get offers and they're not going to say no to money in most cases, like Megadeth is like, we're doing a one last tour that'll last 5 years. Like, I respect Dave Mustaine and I'm excited for him to kind of step back and retire and enjoy, he's got his health, thankfully, after beating cancer. But I don't know about these never ending tours. Bands used to break up and stay broken up. Marilyn Manson has announced a handful of dates next spring, also with festival appearances, such as Sonic Temple. Manson is going to do the One Assassination Under God tour again with Vows. I believe he is releasing a new album in 2026. I think I will do another forecast of the year where I run through what's on tap for every single band. I'll do that early in the year. I think it'll be fun. This was kind of fun. Some gnarly death metal. Atoll and Talking to Talk with Don is here. Don gave you a shout out early, talking about the Frail interview that went live today. So hopefully you saw that. I tagged you on Instagram and YouTube. Omar cut this complaint that you have too many channels and handles. And I was like, you're trying to keep some of them for you and some of them for everything else. Not to mention that Don just released a killer album. I know, they were so fun. That record is you said it best at the very top, like one of the best kept secrets of 2025. Who are your most best kept secrets or underrated bands? Let's see what else. John Butch is playing his final show of the year this weekend in New York City, playing the songs of Anthrax that they never play mostly. Sound of White Noise, Stomp 442, Volume 8, The Threat is Real, and We've Come for You All. He's got a killer band. His Category 7 band is also going to open, which John will be singing with, so he's going to be doing probable double duty. I think that Category 7 is also his band, so I think it's just John Bush, but a lot of music, like many, many songs. Don and Melissa are here. Love y'all. Thank you. Oh, I missed this show in LA. And I'm sorry that I couldn't get down there for it, but the timing was not right. But hopefully John will do more shows. I am considering the Metal Allegiance show next month around the NAMM show, but I'm not going to do NAMM, maybe next year. I just can't deal with a fuck ton of people right now. Anywho, the Amon Clock tour is on sale now. Amon Amarth and Death Clock. We've interviewed Brendan Small of Death Clock 3 times in the last year, as well as in many interviews with Gene Hoglan. And Brendan Small basically said that as long as, and I'm so glad you're well too, and Brendan said as long as it's lucrative, he could keep the band on the road every year with a new configuration. So I think that's fun. And I hope that's the case. All right, moving along. Also, Guns N' Roses announced their opening bands across their U.S. North American tour. Black Crowes, Ice Cube, Pierce the Veil, and Public Enemy. Right this second, I want to see this tour. Don't know. False news about Joe Perry being dead. Well, that's terrible anyway. Let me take a second to talk about this for a second. Thanks for bringing that up, Don. I didn't see it, but I'm glad you said something. Let me tell you something. You know what grinds my gears, Peter Griffin? What grinds my gears is there's a lot of, scurrilous websites, we'll call them, that are purporting to have metal and rock news, and all of it is fake news. Like, honestly, I've had people tell us that we're fake news, and I have made some mistakes in the past. Notably, the worst mistake we probably ever made was when COVID was in full swing, and Till Lindemann was reported by basically the New York Times of Berlin that he was in life support and going to die. And they over-exaggerated it to sell newspapers and have clicks. He was sick. He did have COVID. He was cured of COVID. Then he got pneumonia. He was released from the hospital. We've seen Till on tour since then. And, I printed a retraction. I don't love printing them, but like, I don't go out on limbs. We report the stuff that we know is true. And we'll get there. But yeah, like just be leery of what you're seeing and reading out there. Okay, everybody? All right. We're at about the halfway point. Don says, I'm over it with all the BS web blogs. Yeah, they're not us, and they're not even TMZ is now like a valid news source, or we are a valid news source comparatively. Sublime and Slightly Stupid and More are doing a one-day festival. That's, Sublime Me Gusta Festival. People just called me fat and I said I need sugar in my gas tank. Ouch. That sucks. I don't like that very much. Where's that happening? Anna Gilbert Photo is here. What's up? What's up? Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for everybody that's still watching over on TikTok. I appreciate you all. Let's see what else. We didn't get a chance to talk about this because I didn't do my show last week. Triumph and April Wine. So unless you're a boomer or you're over 50, you don't know who these bands are. Triumph is one of the best rock bands of the 70s, and April Wine's a solid band with some good songs. I don't know that I needed these two bands to come back and play arenas. And, there was like a story yesterday that was like, Live Nation is over the moon with the early ticket sales. I doubt it highly outside of Canada, but I'm wishing them the best. I am probably not going to go to this, but I'm going to save my shows for other things like Nine Inch Nails and Deftones. I just like that they will lay it on the line. Oh, John. Oh, you. I didn't get to talk about this. Machine Head has continued to book an evening with tour, so they're back doing that again. I've talked about the set list about 2 weeks ago. They did in Europe, Australia, excuse me. Unbelievable set list for 3 hours of Machine Head. King Snake Jake, long time no see, homie. How you been? How are you? I hope you're okay and well as we head into these holidays. I'm just doing the rock and metal news. We're talking about concert tours that have been booked recently. Movements is playing the final shows ever at Chain Reaction tonight and tomorrow. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. The Morbid Fest tour featuring Possessed, Terrorizer, Suicide Angels, and a bunch of more is coming up next spring. Rise Against is going on tour with Destroy Boys this spring. New Rise Against album this year that was pretty great. It was like a surprise album, actually. I think these usually do not work. This weekend in New York City, you can meet Daryl DMC McDaniels of Run DMC and a bunch of other projects celebrating Christmas with his new Christmas children's book and performing as well. It is also the 40th anniversary of Christmas Time in Hollis, Queens, Christmas in Hollis, the greatest rap Christmas song ever, in my opinion. And I'm hoping to interview DMC. We've met a few times. You've seen a photo of me on the gram. Irate Basis here. What up, what up? Cooter, Shooter, what up, what up? So, yeah, I love DMC. He's been on some metal tracks. He's on the new Agnostic Front record. He performed with Agnostic Front last weekend in New York for Vinny Stigma's 70th birthday. We covered the show. You can read that at our site right now. Blood for Blood, we were talking about this earlier. They just booked a whole return tour, but they left out one member, which is interesting. Blood for Blood, Skinhead, Death Before Dishonor, 20th anniversary set, and Risk at Big Night Live in Boston. This is going to be a fucking bloodbath. Teeth on the floor. People go into the hospital. I will not be there, but holy shit. Also, Filter is going on tour with Finger 11 and Local H right in my 20s with these three bands. Finger 11 has an excellent new album out. Filter, we broke the internet with our interview with Richard Patrick. And I've interviewed Local H also recently, last year. So very exciting stuff. I love Scott. Rock and Roll Toy Drive took place last weekend. I just wanted to shout out 20 Watt Tombstone, who are friends of ours from the Wisconsin area. And I'm just really stoked that bands are still doing stuff like this, fundraising and trying to get money together for good causes. So this was last weekend, but I'm really stoked about it. What Lies Within tour is coming up. Alter Bridge's new album is coming soon. with Daughtry and Seven Dust. Not sure why Seven Dust still is not really doing more headline tours. They did just do the acoustic headline tour, missed that, but very excited for them. Agnostic Front has a few more days left on their tour. Mentioned that just a minute ago. Holiday of Horror is taking place later in the month in Chicago with Macabre and Bones, Avernus, and Texas Toast Chainsaw Massacre, one of the best names I've ever heard in my life. And then there's a weird after show with the Rush tribute band Dreamline. Just fucking bananas. Studio Martinez is here. What's up, Studio Martinez? Okay. And that is all the concert festivals and concert tour dates and one-offs and other things I wanted to talk about. Once again, if you want to drop us a tip, we appreciate you. You can become a real one. Just some shout outs. I don't have my Fable Beard products with me, but we just got a whole supply of them. I should do a Fable Beard video while I'm here. And my beard is just magnificent lately, and it's all thanks to Fable Beard. If you sign up and you want to get your beard game on point, sign up with the link in our description, and you can get $10 off your next order, and we can get some free merch from them. Also, when you see ads at ghostcultmag.com, that is through the Lamb Goat Media Network. Lamb Goat is the much meaner version of Ghost Cult. Don't go in the comments. You might need a shower after, but they do a great job on news and coverage. And I just want to shout out one more time my web developer and breaking case of glass, Craig Caruso of Caruso Apps. You can look up his website, Caruso Apps. He can sort out your any problems you have with your WordPress or your website. He can build an app for you. He can do server hosting. He is amazing, and I would not be in business without him. And just shout out to Craig at this holiday time. And once again, if you're watching this everywhere except TikTok, we are streaming via StreamYard. I don't know if we're going to stay with StreamYard into 2026 or not. I'm going to evaluate that over the break. But anyway. And again, we're on all the socials. We're going to run a new giveaway tomorrow. We ended that, God forbid, ticket giveaway. And I think we're going to run a new giveaway tomorrow where I'm going to give away books. Books of our... just some extra books I've come across from Ozzy, Slayer, some cool money management book, Mark Morris's new book about productivity, and more. I have an abundance of stuff, and I want to give some more of it away. So please feel free to sign up tomorrow for the giveaway. We also have a newsletter, which you should be checking out if you don't have time to kind of check in with this show every week and or follow all these news sources and websites. And now we're going to run through the rest of the show pretty quickly. What is happening with Jane's Addiction? Jesus Christ. Funny see this news about Jane's Addiction a year, 15 months after they had a fight on stage that spilled into the backstage in which Dave Navarro and Perry Farrell punched each other silly, and a bunch of roadies had to break it up, and they got punched. And then they basically said they would not continue the band with Perry, that he was unstable and on drugs and drinking, which seems confirmed. And then the band filed a lawsuit against Perry for costing them millions of dollars for the tours they had planned the next few years on their new album that they aborted. The three remaining members of the band have decided to make music together without Perry. And then yesterday, Jane's Addiction put out two statements in a row. One from the band saying they've amicably reconciled with Perry for the legacy and sake of the band, but they are not coming back together to make new music or tour ever again. That band is going to go their separate ways. Perry on his own, the rest of those guys their ways, but they came together to kind of squash the beef so they could probably make money, sell the catalog, put out reissues, things like that. They've already kind of hit a lot of those anniversaries, but these statements read like notes from kidnappers. Like they seem like they were written with lawyers and guns in their faces. These guys don't like each other. Somebody said in TikTok when I posted the story yesterday, which thanks to everybody on social media that shared and liked those stories. But I can't believe they're fighting. These guys have been friends for years. Yeah, Jane's Addiction is always disliked. Perry and Dave have always had beef, whether it was over chicks or drugs or whatever, the direction of the band, music. They used to fight on stage routinely and punch each other out. The Lollapalooza book that came out this year that's amazing is literally a diary of every day on that first tour, and it's all drama from these guys. So it's good that they're not together anymore. Just like if you're in a relationship that sucks, it's good if you're not together anymore. bands, people, couples, marriages, businesses, whatever. If you're not good for each other, don't stay together. You know what I'm saying? I'm starting to get angry. Moving on, more drama. Chain Reaction, as I mentioned, having their last two shows. I have only been there once. It's in Anaheim, and it has been an essential club in metalcore, punk, hardcore. A lot of bands you love and know would not be who they are without Chain Reaction, and I'm just sad to lose an iconic place. What's up, Studio Martinez? Welcome back. I appreciate you. All righty. Also, this is a brutal one. I know Ken Pierce of Piercing Metal just popped in my chat to tell me that Music Hall of Williamsburg is losing its lease. Brooklyn being Brooklyn, it's hard. We've covered Knitting Factory, St. Vitus being closed was a terrible blow to the rock and metal world. And now Music Hall of Williamsburg is going to lose it. At least maybe they can reopen somewhere else. I had always believed that St. Vitus would open up somewhere else, or at least that management team would open up somewhere else. They continue to book shows, but this is a bummer. On the plus side, the Park side, we have yet to hear. We know the building was going to be sold, and we have yet to hear if anything is happening. This is here in San Francisco. I love this place. This is basically beside Gilman Street in Brooklyn. This is the punk rock and black metal and death metal capital. It's a little bar. Great food, great punk rock vibes and atmosphere. A lot of metal bands get booked there. Hard Times Events puts on shows there. It's on 17th Street here in San Francisco, not far from where I live. And it's actually, like, if you're familiar with the band Hammers of Misfortune and their album 17th Street, they lived in that neighborhood. And that album cover is shot there looking over the city from up the hill. So I hope the Parkside perseveres, but on the plus side, the Mab Hue Gardens is back. Now, it may be back as a kind of upscale, expensive cocktails and drinks bar, but they have punk shows now. Mab was a jazz foundational place in Telegraph Hill in San Francisco. It was a foundational punk rock place. Some of the first shows ever from the LA and New York punk bands played the Mab. And of course, if you watched any of the metal documentaries, you know the Mab was the place where Metallica, Exodus, Death Angel, The Legacy, which became Testament, Forbidden Evil, all these bands, Violence, all these bands played the Mab. And a lot of stuff happened at the Mab. Murder in the Front Row documentary has a great segment on the Mab and how crazy it was. The Fab Mab. It is back, and I'm looking forward to going there. And if I go there, I'll bring you a report of it. I should do like my favorite local venues as a short, a YouTube video or something. I should do that. The case of Vitriol gets weirder and weirder. A couple weeks back, the whole internet was agog like 3 weeks ago about Vitriol's leader getting abandoned with his girlfriend and dog in the middle of winter in Vermont because his hired gun band was furious with him. It gets weirder. He has been putting out some wild statements and videos about just kind of like very third person referential weirdness. And, I wish him luck. He's a talented guy. I think joking about doing coke and beers and being unsafe on the road and being kind of a terrible, employer and boss. Because basically, if you hire a band to go on tour with you, they're working for you and you have to treat them better. So I hope it gets better for him because Vitriol was an excellent band at one point. The members of Dogma, who have a new band, have booked a tour of Australia that Dogma had been canceled for. Still unsure yet if they are actually an independent operating new band without a Svengali guy behind them, but I'm rooting for them. More probable weirdness from the band Dogma and their weirdly aggressive fans who are like refuse to believe there's any wrongdoing that they did or defrauded fans or themselves. Strangely aggressive Dogma fans and Dogma fan groups on Reddit and Facebook. The documentary that's supposed to be coming out from musician and porn director Matt Zane about Wayne Static and Tara, his former wife. Wayne's family has put a cease and desist on this. We have covered this on our site. I'm friends with the publicist. It's, we had no reason to believe there was any wrongdoing. And it'll be interesting to see if this documentary ever comes out. I think the family likes to try to control the narrative about Wayne and is concerned about what light he will be painted in. I am pro Static X with Zero. Some people are not. I've seen them. They're amazing. The other three guys deserve to still have their band. I recognize that nobody can replace Wayne, but we'll be following this story with great interest. Pussy Riot has now been declared an enemy of the state and a terrorist organization by the Ministry of Law of Russia. Pussy Riot is a, demonstrative punk rock band. Their original founder now does book tours and art installations. If Russia thinks these people are bad, we should be supporting them with our dollars and our clicks. That's what I say. Also interesting stuff from Carla Harvey, formerly of Butcher Babies, now of her band, The Violent Hour, as well as the new Acid Queen in Lords of Acid, and now married to Charlie Benante. They were due time for more press. That's very funny. So she gave a new interview talking about her solo band tour, which she's opening for Steel Panther. And she said that she was actually forced out of Butcher Babies when the split came with her and Heidi. And Heidi has had many health problems the last few years, but Carla made it sound like, it was a mutual thing and there was no acrimony and it was just time for her to move on and her heart wasn't in the band anymore. They tried to go for 15 years. They kind of peaked. They weren't going any further. And she wanted to do other things, those other things being these things we now see. And we know that Carla had an an orbital eye socket injury from headbanging, and she had to get eye surgery and go off the road, which is probably very scary when your looks are part of your deal. And then the band kind of went on tour without her, and that kind of burned a bridge with her, and that's why she quit, she says now. But I would like to interview Carla. I'm a huge Anthrax fan. I love Charlie, and I'm just so happy for them. They were married by Gene Simmons. I'm Gene Simmons. And how much do you think Gene Simmons charged them to officiate that wedding, Don? A lot of money. This is really fun. Craig Verdon of Shudder to Think, the old school punk rock band, put out a Do They Know It's Christmas song with Paul Rudd and a bunch of other musicians and celebrity comedians and actors. Considering the timing this week with Bondi Beach and Brown University and, other things, great fun. I do kind of miss the Dave Grohl Hanukkah song drops and video drops, especially his cover of Jump, which was amazing. But anyway, Craig Worden, I'd love to go interview them. I haven't seen Shudder to Think in about 30 years. Live at the Catacombs by Queens of the Stone Age is now available to watch for free on YouTube, at least the version they put out, not the live stream version. The 5 songs that was kind of, for on demand. You can now watch on YouTube. I know what I'm doing this weekend, watching that. Also, I don't know if you're a fan of Epic Rap Battles of History, but I'm a fan. They just dropped their first new video in a long time, The White Death versus the Red Baron, and it's hilarious. I love Epic Rap Battles of History. Whenever I feel down in the dumps, I watch it. So I highly recommend it. I think this is actually a picture from behind the scenes with the green screen. Incredible, talented guys. I'd love to meet them or see them live sometimes. Peter Chris of Kent is dropping his first new album in, I think, 10 years tomorrow. I believe the Glacially Musical Podcast is going to review this at some point also. I think. Slayer audiobook and podcaster DX Ferris has finally put out the Slayer audiobook of the 66 and 2/3 metal band biography. He also famously wrote the 33rd and a third book about Slayer. And now he has an audiobook. You can buy it on Bandcamp. I think it's going to be on streaming eventually. But you can support his work by joining his Patreon or buying the audiobook from Bandcamp. Poppy, new album coming soon. Dropped another video. The Guardian, very excited about this. Tool says they're working on new music. Still, again, until a song is finished, Maynard doesn't ever do vocals or even consider vocals. But I'm excited by the possibility that we will have new Tool music in a year or two. Thanks, Aunt Thrill House. Appreciate you. Let's see, what else? Metallica has started to share videos from their Middle East and Down Under tour dates. They shared their very first live footage of their very first shows in Bahrain and Dubai. Very cool. As Metallica ends a big year, I know they're doing another All Within My Hands month of giving. Kirk Whammett. That's funny. Also, Gary Holt inadvertently announced the next 2 Exodus albums. It's going to come out March 20th, so I imagine we're going to get a single either around this week or next, or right to begin the year. We've been seeing, and I'm sure Don can back me up on this, we've been seeing kind of a lot of bands sort of with a short Zetro out. Rob Duke's back in right in the middle there, wearing his They Live shirt. Killer. I'm very excited about 2 new Exodus records, perhaps in the same year next year, which would mirror Rob Duke's Atrocity Exhibition A and B. Duke's hopefully out with Zetro in again. No, it's not going to happen, bro. I love Duke's. When you arrive at the Christmas party and there's no thrash metal playing, dude, I know how you feel. And we're going to skip right to the mailbag. We are taking a little bit of a break from New Music Friday. Obviously, Peter Criss has a record coming out tomorrow. There are new records coming out the next 2 weeks. Nothing I thought that was like really amazing that you needed to have. I know the new Health album is out. I know Over is putting their record out at New Year's. I don't understand, but they don't care about awards or lists or anything. They didn't want to have to like risk it getting leaked, which is what I think it is. New Health album, I pre-ordered it. Over album, I pre-ordered it. So I'm waiting for those to come whenever. But let's talk about the mailbag. And it's fun that you're here, Don, because you are the reason I have a mailbag check this week, because I'm not at home, where I have all manner of things that I could check. Don sent me a belated birthday present in the form of 3 vinyls. And I just want you all to see, before I get jiggy with it over here. See if I can do this without fucking it up. So one of the jokes we continually make on the Glacially Musical podcast is the what's in the box from Zetro's Exodus from Exodus. He's been exiled, my friend. So we make this joke all the time. I don't want to show Don's address by accident, but like, what's in the box? What's in the box? So yeah, great joke. So Don sent me some belated birthday mirth, including some stickers. But he sent me 3 vinyls, and I thought these were super fun. First, we have the Monkees' Greatest Hits. I do like the Monkees. Omar cut this. Omar Cordy, the co-owner of Ghost Cult's a huge Monkees fan. And this thing is rad. Really, this is kind of all you need. Theme from the Monkees, Last Train to Clarksville, She, Daydream Believer, Listen to the Band, A Little Bit of Me, A Little Bit of You, I'm a Believer, I Want to Be Free, Pleasant Valley, Sunday, I'm Not Your Stepping Stone cover, and Shades of Grey, not the Biohazard Shades of Grey, but pretty cool. Omar will be hella jealous of this. It'd be funny if he showed up here. Also in the mailbag this week for me, and I'm stoked for this, is the Mother Love Bone remastered 35th anniversary album of Apple. This was their debut. Great record. I don't remember if this is a colored vinyl or not. Yep, opaque habanero echo vinyl. Let's unbox it and take a look at it. Already in the outer sleeve. Thank you, Dawn. Opened and played, I believe, in the paper sleeve. I'll get rid of that at home. Oh, no, it's in the paper with the Mylar. Fucking cool. Good job. Good job. And here's this, looks like Safety Orange, Nick Cameron's favorite color ever. This is gorgeous, man. I'm really excited about this. Don and I are going to do an episode of his podcast to discuss this album. At some point, the last one we did will run, I believe, where we did Robert Plant's solo album Now and Zen, which I'm a huge fan of. And then also one of my favorite records of 2025, Marissa Nadler, New Radiations on Sacred Bones record. Sacred Bones has a lot of dark folk and death metal and Americana, as well as, for some reason, John Carpenter soundtrack albums starting in February. Right on, brother, right on. So let's just bust out the Marissa album. I don't know if this is the plain or the, I know they had an indie color vinyl also or something, some fanciful stuff. Marissa's incredible, one of my favorite records of the year. I've interviewed her before. We've interviewed her and covered her all over Europe and America. Don is a huge fan and has worked with her. Thank you, Dawn, for sending this to me. Marissa is a treasure. Oh, look at this fun. Yep. Oh, look at this swirly vinyl. I don't know what you'd call this. Kind of like Twilight Zone acid trip. I don't know. It's like almost looks like the the album is called New Radiations, and now that I think about it, this kind of looks like the Northern Lights in Northern Lights, either in Minnesota, the Dakotas, and Norway and Scandinavia. Pretty badass. And that is what's in my mailbag. That's what I'm going to be spinning soon. And that is our show at a very manageable 55 minutes and 40 something seconds. Thanks everybody for watching today. I really appreciate everybody for being here. This is your show too. This is a hard time of the year. If you're having a hard time out there, it gets better. Please reach out. You're not alone. Please make sure to DM us. Our DMs are open at Ghost Cult Mag and other places. My DMs are open at Ghost Cult Keefe. And I just don't want to lose any more rock soldiers. It's been such a tough year on so many fronts, and I'm just very grateful I get to do what I do and have a good time doing it. Thank you all for supporting us, a small business. Thank you, Don and Melissa and everybody else that was here. Thank you so much. And as I say every week of this juncture of the show, it's a tough time in the world. So take care of each other. Take care of yourselves. Don't drink and drive. And I'm going to dance a jig on the way out like Joe Hollenbeck. And we are, and of course, Southeast of Heaven. And of course, we are an LGBTQIA plus safe site. And always, peace.